I think I should have this thing. I remember it was years and years ago. I used to keep this journal, and it was like my dreams. It was always my dreams, and I would wake up. Sometimes I would write in it. Then sometimes I would go to work, and I would still remember my dreams. And right before work, I would sit down and I would write. And then when I got back home, I would write these dreams down. All right, there's this so I had this dream, and I don't remember all of it, but I'm waking up, and I remember I was sitting there, and it was something, we was like something to do with electricity, and this cord had to get the ground, and we was having a conversation. We was like in the living room, and there were people, in the living room. And there was a guy over to the right. And keep in mind, this is like the second or third part of the dream, and that's why it's phasing. And then a lot of times, I think you miss the dreams because you forget dreams because you do things when you wake up that make you forget your dreams because you're so it's just you're like in a different place and there's something that pulls you up out of the dream, and sometimes you can remember these dreams and sometimes you can't. So there was this wire and it was loose and there was like water on the ground, and I I went to turn something on or turn something off and the wire hit the water, and this one guy was touching it, and I don't know, I think he made some kind of circuit because it went through him, and he had went to touch this guy on the chest, and it had just killed this guy instantly, and you could just see like that it had killed him. And somebody was in the background. They was yelling like, "Why would you do that? Why the fuck would you do that? Why? And why would you do that?" And I was looking, and I was kind of like, "Oh." In the distance, I don't know how the electricity got this one guy, but he was like all the way at the end of the room, and he was sitting in this recliner, and he had fell back, and he was like in a recliner kind of reversal, he was like hanging off of it backwards, and he didn't have a shirt on. He had some either some sweatpants or some jammy bottoms, right? And they got the sweatpants or the pants that kind of look like pajama bottoms and stuff that people wear and stuff, but they're not really pajamas. But I guess that's the fashion, so they make them like that. I got a pair of them. Matter of fact, I got a pair of them on right now. Kind of like this. And his girlfriend. And I'm just telling you, this is a dream because I'm pretty, because this was a dream. I think this dude was Brad Pitt, all right, like Brad Pitt, like early era, like if you ever see that movie California, and dude looked like him, all right, and he's dead, and this is how you know it was somewhat a dream because this girl, she was in a dream and she kind of looked at like Gwyneth Paltrow, whatever her name is, but I think they used to be a couple back in the days. And she looks over and she sees him. He's hanging in his chair, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And like everybody over looks and they see him, and we look and we're like, "Oh shit!" Because all of us is cool with him and shit. Everybody's cool with him. So This guy is representing this really, 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 really cool guy that everybody is cool with. So when everybody sees him, they're just so distraught that this guy is dead. And his girlfriend, which I would say we would call her Gwyneth because, for lack of a better name, and she's just hysterical. And she's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" She runs across the room and she starts giving him CPR. And she's like breathing in his mouth, and she's breathing in his mouth, and she's pumping on his chest and pumping on his chest. And I know, and no one, and we're like, man, this is just crazy because she's dead, he's dead, and she's crying, and she's um, breathing in his mouth. And it reminds me of back in the day, a long time ago, um, when my friend's dad died, and he had a heart attack, and I think it was his second or third heart attack. And he had the heart attack because, like once you have a heart attack, doctors will tell you, don't do this and don't do that. You can't do this. You can't drink. You can't drink alcohol. You can't smoke cigarettes and all that. Your life is so precious, and the damage you done to your heart is just so severe. And if you want to live for another year, if you want to live and to see your grandkids, if you want to live, you have to give up this. And I don't know what happened, but like his stepson told him one day, he was like, "Hey, man, fuck what those doctors say, man. You can have a beer and all that, and got a beer." So he started drinking beer, and one day, me and my friend, we left, and we come back. And for dramatic sake, let's say that we were there, but we weren't there. We got there, back there, and I'm not sure if the paramedics had just left or whatnot, but we got there. The neighbors was coming out. His neighbor came out, and he was crying, and he was explaining to us how his wife was trying to. His wife was a nurse, and she was trying to save my friend's dad, and he was describing how she was giving him CPR, and she said he had just ate like spaghetti or something, and he kept regurgitating it, and she would, you know, wipe it off his mouth, and she would give him CPR, and she was breathing him, and he would throw up, and she would get something to throw up in her mouth, and she was crying hysterically and trying to, get this out of her mouth and all this and wipe it out of his mouth, get it out of his mouth and pump on his chest, all right? And I remember this. In a dream, this was like that, she was crying hysterically, and we were sitting there because there's nothing you can do. You're so powerless. You're powerless. You're looking at this and you're like, you're powerless. And you can't do shit. It's like watching somebody drown in the ocean, and you're standing on the shore and you want to save them, but the waves is crashing and you can't save them, and you're powerless. It's like I remember growing up with the people that I grew up with, and there's people that I know who are dead, and I know how they died. Like my one friend, I used to be these girls. Two of them were sisters, and one of them was their cousin. And I seen this picture of me when I was young, and you get older and you forget who you were. And I see this picture of me, and I was like, it's just pretty kid, pretty boy, and I was looking like I never knew I looked that good. I never looked no, that's what I look like. I never look at pictures of me when I'm young. And I seen this picture because it was actually a picture of my dad was in it, and my dad died recently. He died about a month or two ago. I'm not exactly sure, but it's been recent, maybe 2 months ago. And there's a whole bunch of pictures when people die. They find all these pictures of them, and sometimes they have these video slides, and they had this video slide of my dad at his funeral. And I would like to get a copy of that. That I don't have a copy of, but I think I will ask my sister to give me a copy of it. And it's just this it's just this picture, and it's my little brother. My brother's 6 years younger than me, and it's a picture of him. Off to the side, there's a picture of me. There's a picture of my dad on the side, and then there's a picture of my mom. And and I'm trying to think of, and my mom is probably in her 20s. She might be, if she's in her 30s, it's like 30, and my dad is, in his 30s, early 30s, and it just picture me, and I'm smiling, and I'm looking, and I'm like, man, I kind of see how these girls just have crushes on me and stuff, and and now I see, when I see the picture, I used to always like, I go, and then these girls have crushes on me, and I remember when I went to high school, and my sister, all these girls would tell my sister how, they would like, oh, your brother is cute, like your brother looks good, you blah blah blah, and I was like, and I thought it was just like average looking guy and shit. Um, I thought I looked better than some people, but I consider myself average. But then I look at pictures of me. I mean, I'm high school pictures and stuff like that, and I don't want to sound vain, so let me change the subject, or let me go back to where I was talking about. So she's pumping on this guy's chest, and we're all sitting there, and I think you lose, you know, who's there and what's there and all that. And we're like, but you're not going to save him. Like she's just sitting there and she's pumping on this guy's chest, and she's pumping on this guy's chest. And she's not going to save him. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. At some point, the guy, he coughs. And and he's coughing and shit. And she collapses and stuff because he's like, and we're sitting there and we just can't believe that this guy almost died. And there's this other guy, we're so happy and so elated that he's alive that we forget about the other guy that's off to the side over in the other chair dead. Plus, we didn't know the guy in the other chair. He was just somebody that was sitting there, like one of those stragglers, one of those people that, just happened to be there, or one of those people that were there because somebody else invited them. And I look and I'm like, and I'm crying and shit. I'm like, oh my God, but this dude almost died, and I'm so glad he's alive. And I'm looking at this girl, and I'm so glad for her that she saved him. And I look across the other room, and I see other people who they're crying, and they're crying because this guy, people loved him, people liked him. He's one of the guys that, like, if he died, the room would be a little bit emptier. People's lives would be a little bit sadder, and things like that. So that's just what it is. And I woke up, and And I had this one journal, it's like, and I was like, oh man, by the time I dig into my bag and pull that journal out and find that journal, I'm gonna probably forget this bit of this dream, just like I forgot the parts that were in the beginning of the dream. And and then I realized there was this other journal. And I'm not even gonna say it's a journal, it's a notebook. But it's like a notebook I got because I got the notebook because I said, hey, I'm gonna write stuff down in this notebook. And then I'm gonna transfer it over to this, and then I'm gonna transfer it over to this, and I'm gonna write this really extensive dream journal. As soon as I get to find my old dream journal that I used to write in, because there's a lot of ways that I used to write and I used to format things differently than I do now. And I'm gonna say some of the things that I used to do were actually are better than the ways that I do them now, because although I know more now, I'm a little bit lazier. And and I know I don't know why my voice is so messed up. I know you sitting there, and I know I was sitting there like, oh wow, that's cool. But this is actually like a little series, a little something different that I want to do. Hold on. Yeah, this is a little something different I want to do. I had to get a little drink, something to drink. Like right there, there's a couple journals right there on top of there that I want to write in. And man, like you said, that game right there is classic. It's called Twilight Imperium, and it's like one of my favorite games. The only thing about it, you can't hardly get nobody to play it because probably it lasts about 8 hours. I mean, you set it up and it's gonna be playing for a whole day. And look at this TV right here. I bought this TV. I bought this TV because I didn't want to go and spend $200, $300 on a 55, 65 inch TV. So I went and got this little TV just so I can hook a PlayStation up to and stuff. And I never hooked the PlayStation up to. And when I got it, it's not even a smart TV. It's a shit, motherfuckers almost to me like a big computer monitor. And when I went to get it or buy it, I pulled up to this place and I recognized it was like a place for like retirees and stuff like that. And this old guy comes out. And he's old, and I don't know, somebody, kid or his daughter, one of his grandkids probably bought him a new smart TV. So they was like, hey, that, he probably didn't have a lot of money and stuff. And I looked at the TV and I was like, oh, I don't want that piece of shit. But since I'm not a piece of shit, I don't want to tell this guy I don't want that piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, here, give this guy this money and take this TV and stuff. And which called, I haven't, I haven't, I think I plugged it up, but I haven't put anything on there or anything like that. And it's just sitting there. And I know this is a funny video, but I wear make stuff like this instead of the other shit that everybody looks at and gets to see like this. So this video is actually me talking and shit for a little while. And it sounds like I'm high. It sounds like I'm drunk or anything like that. But I don't smoke anything. I don't get high. I don't do pills. And I might drink once or twice a month. And when I do, it's usually just like it's just like one drink or one or two shots of something. Usually something with very low calories, probably usually something with no sugar in it. But every once in a while, I'll drink some Crown Royale or something like that, or Hennessy, or sometimes I'll drink it. I drink other things. I remember one time I was with this priest, and he had a whiskey collection, and that's probably the drunkest I've been in. Shit, probably like 10 years. We was just trying these different whiskeys from all around the world, and I think we were singing karaoke. And we had a little eclectic uh, crew. It's one little black girl that had a little afro. She worked at the lab at the hospital. Her boyfriend Ryan, I don't know what he did and shit. I know they used to get in these like stupid arguments and shit, but they actually seemed like they loved each other a lot, and they ended up moving to New York. And then I think he ended up cheating on her up there and stuff. And then she went to Europe. Um, I stopped being friends with them. I don't know, because the priest, he seemed like he had a lot of control issues. But surprisingly, I think most priests do have control issues, and I believe that that's a whole part of the system anyway, is to have control. And it's really that's another video that I'll probably make, because I'm gonna start making a bunch of these videos and stuff, and transferring them, because it's something I actually always wanted to do, but I just get so far away from doing things because there's so many things that I do and so many things that I have in my head that I can't do most of it. And because there's so much of it, sometimes I don't get to do none of it. But that's what it is, man. And this is just something, man. So I get little fucking time in the interlude. So, if you like it, man, keep coming back. And yeah, I do live content. A lot of times I make these videos just to get time, and because it's always running out. Um, this is me. So, see you. I'm at the end of this shit.